She believed in family. He believed in freedom. She was expecting their third child. He was planning a new life with someone else. This is the horrifying true story of Shanann Watts and the man who murdered his entire family to chase an affair. Today, we're covering the deeply disturbing case of Chris Watts, a man who destroyed his family, not in a moment of rage, but with chilling calculation. This story goes beyond murder. It's about obsession, manipulation, and the dark side of a man living a double life. Shanann Watts was a devoted mother of 2 and pregnant with her third child. She lived in Frederick, Colorado with her husband Chris and their daughters Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3. She was active on social media, sharing joyful moments from her life, unaware that her perfect world was unraveling. Chris Watts seemed like a gentle, reserved man. He worked for an oil company and played the part of the quiet, loving dad. But everything began to change in June 2018 when he met a woman named Nicole Kessinger. Nicole worked in environmental safety at the same company. The two started talking, flirting. It quickly turned physical. By early July, Chris and Nicole were seeing each other several times a week. He told her he was in the process of separating from Shanann. He said they were no longer in love, but that was a lie. Shanann had no idea. They went on dates. They slept together. Chris gave her a love letter, and he began losing weight, getting fit, texting her obsessively. In late July, when Shanann and the kids went to North Carolina to visit family, Chris stayed behind and spent the entire time with Nicole. He even lied to her about his daughters, saying they were from a previous marriage. While Shanann was in North Carolina, she noticed something was off. Chris had stopped calling. He wasn't answering texts. When she confronted him, he blamed stress. Meanwhile, he was telling Nicole he loved her, that he'd have his freedom soon. Shanann returned home from her trip just after 2 a.m. on August 13th. That morning, she missed a doctor's appointment. Her friend Nicole couldn't reach her. She called the police. Inside the house, Shannon's purse, phone, car, and medication. But no sign of her or the kids. Chris seemed cold. He told officers she had left with the kids, but surveillance from the neighbor's camera showed him loading his truck at 5 a.m. alone. Chris gave multiple versions of what happened. First, he blamed Shanann. Then, under pressure, he confessed. He strangled Shanann in their bedroom during an argument about separation. Their daughter Bella walked in moments later and asked what's wrong with Mommy. He told her Mommy was sick. Then he did the unthinkable, loaded Shannon's body into his truck and placed his daughters, still alive, in the back seat alongside of Shannon's dead body. At the oil site, Chris smothered Celeste first while Bella watched. Then he turned to Bella, who said the heartbreaking words, "Is the same thing going to happen to me, a CC?" Chris admitted Bella fought back. She bit her tongue. Her last words were, "Daddy, no." He then forced their tiny bodies into separate oil tanks. Shanann, still wrapped in a sheet, was buried in a shallow grave nearby. Chris Watts was arrested and charged with 9 counts, including the murders of Shanann, Bella Celeste, and unborn baby Nico. In November 2018, he pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty. He was sentenced to 5 life terms without the possibility of parole. Nicole Kessinger said she had no idea Chris was still living with Shanann. When news broke, she cooperated with police and deleted her entire digital presence. To this day, she lives under a new identity and claims she's haunted by what happened. Shanann Watts was a devoted mother, a kind friend, and a woman full of life. Bella and Celeste were bright, innocent, and deeply loved. Baby Nico never got the chance to open his eyes. Their lives were not just headlines. They were stolen dreams, silenced laughter, and love that still echoes. If you found this video meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe.